G'day guys, welcome to Scotch Down Under. I'm Ken.
I'm the cue ball.
And I'm Scott.
And today we're going to have a look at the Kilkerran 12-year-old. This is a new release that's only just come out, and the Kilkerran bottling is actually not the name of the distillery. It's actually Glengoyle.
That's something that's actually a little unusual for a Campbeltown whiskey as well, because Glen is more of a, like to have a Glen Grant or a Glen Kinchy or whatever, that's more of a Speyside thing.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why they actually changed the name, because they didn't want to associate it with Speyside. And as you said, it is a Campbeltown, way down south, next to just a little bit down from Isla and across on the lowland. So this is a little peninsula, and this is actually number 3 of the distilleries that are actually in the Campbeltown. The other two there are Glen Scotia and Springbank.
Oh, Springbank I've heard of.
Yeah, I've heard lots of really nice things about Springbank, but I've never actually had any yet.
Don't Springbank own Glen?
They're actually owned by the parent company.
Yeah.
Yep, so they're owned by the same company. And when these guys were actually opened, Springbank was actually some of the guys that went over to Glengoyle, and they were the ones that actually did the distillation, and they got the barley from Springbank. And this is their little experimentation, so they're able to experiment more and do more interesting distillations and different maturations.
You said before that that Glengoyne is a fairly new distillery. And basically the reason behind that, it was originally, was it 1872 it originally opened?
1872,
with the Campbell brothers.
No, Mitchell
brothers.
Yeah,
But that's like Campbeltown.
Yeah. It's going to get
see that
all these
association.
names.
And then it closed down, and they tried to reopen it a couple of times, but it never really got there. And then the current company came along around 2000.
Yes.
Refitted the distillery. The buildings were still there, which was apparently unusual because there used to be a lot of distilleries.
Yeah, there was 34 in Campbeltown. Campbeltown was actually the biggest Scotch whiskey producer back in the early days,
so towards the end of the 19th century. Basically.
Yeah, they were the biggest. They were the big place to actually get whiskey, not like Speyside, which it is now.
Yeah.
Because of the port and the access. And they were actually asked to produce more whiskey, and they cut some corners, and they were in the bad books for a little while there. And then,
because when you cut corners in making whiskey, you don't make good whiskey.
No. And so there was some bad reports and some bad whiskey, and then a lot of the distilleries closed down. Then the war happened, and etc. And in 1925, no more Glengoyne.
I think a big kicker as well is they built a railway all the way up to Speyside, which made it easier and more affordable for Speyside to make large capacity whiskey.
They didn't have to use the ships anymore. They could just take trains back.
Yeah, that was from London, of course.
Yeah. So they were able to get stuff in and out, not easy, instead of having using the ships. But yeah, 1925 is when they actually closed, and then the Mitchell family, who originally owned Glengoyle, actually rebought it back in 2000, and in 2004 they did their first distillation, and they did a whole pile of pre-releases that they bought out, and everybody said that they were really good at able to get their hands on them. They were actually very limited releases, and then back in 2013 or 14 I think it was, they bought out this, which is their actual standard release. So what do you guys think about the packaging of this little expression?
It's quite simple and it's quite basic, and did have a bit of a look at it before, and the spiel on the back of the tin is exactly the same as the spiel on the back of the bottle. And it tells you what you need to know. Product of Scotland, matured in oak, aged 12 years, where it's distilled, the fact that it's a single malt, and the actual brand and logo and everything. It's very basic, it's very simple.
Nice,
but by the same token, it does sort of stand out a little because of that larger style with the logo.
It's clean. It's very clean. Yeah, I do actually like it. I mean, it is very simple, but being pure black on white with a nice little textured finish on both the bottle and on the tube. Actually,
Yeah,
it does stand out.
I think with the label, it's actually a textured paper. It's not that the print is elevated. It's just an
Yeah, they're both the same. It's a nice textured lizard-like texture. Actually, it's quite nice. Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah. So, shall we have a sniff?
Please.
Yes, I think so.
All right, so straight away you can tell that there's a bit of a kick to it because you're getting that, what I like to refer to as alcohol heat on the nose.
There is a little bit of the fume coming through.
And, you know, by quick sneaky peek, she's 46%. So there's definitely a bit of a kick behind it.
I'm glad you guys learned to read labels now.
Yeah, it is 46 ABV, which is a good amount. It's not too strong, and it's not you know, the minimum 40%. So you might get some extra stuff coming through. And the best thing about this, written right on the back, non-chill filtered, non-coloured.
Yeah.
That is a big plus. Big plus.
So it's just trying to get some white behind it so I can see it a bit better here. So it's
Yes, up against the light. It's
a beautiful, like, pale gold.
straw.
It's very light, yeah.
That's nice. And I did read that this was actually 70% in ex-bourbon casks and then 30% in sherry casks.
Ooh.
So, and there's meant to be a little bit of peat, so between 8 and 10 ppm. So only a very little note. So I can get.
I'm not really getting the peat on the nose, but
I'm getting a faint peat.
there is a
Yeah,
little
I'm
bit. You can
getting
definitely get the little bit of sweetness from the sherry.
Yep.
I'm getting a tiny bit of peat on the end.
It's very faint, but it is there. It does smell nice.
It-
And this is a neck pour, but we have let it open a little bit, so we've only just popped the cork off this, and so it is a neck pour, but we've been sitting here and letting it,
swirl.
let it open up a little bit. Oh, that does come through, doesn't it?
Can we taste it now?
I think so.
Okay.
While we digest that.
Cheers.
Oh, I like that.
Wow.
That's easy drinking.
That is very tasty.
God
I'm going
damn.
in for another one.
It's quite smooth for something with a slightly higher ABV. I mean,
Yeah.
normally, personally, I sort of with that initial taste, I struggle a little with that higher alcohol, you know, and so I sort of need to try and get past that.
And you always find the alcohol that comes. You didn't find that?
A little bit.
little bit.
I got it more on the nose than I did through the taste, to be honest.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I didn't get any of the alcohol coming
very
through on the
smooth.
palate. No, that's very nice.
Sort of, you know, having given it a few moments, I am just tiny little bit on the back of the palate. I'm getting that subtle hint of peat that they say.
That's what I'm getting as well. Right on the edge of
But
the
on
back
the-
of the tongue, yeah.
on the front of the
That
tongue.
slight tingle.
There's that sweet oakiness.
Yeah. And now that we've got that going through our olfactory system, you can smell the peat coming through on the nose a bit more with a little bit of the oak. Oh, that is nice.
Just
I can understand why people have been raving about this.
And just letting it sit on the tongue for a few seconds, you start to get a little bit more of that peat, but it's beautifully subtle. Like, for me, that's very, very reminiscent of an Oban, although the Oban it's a little more pronounced.
yeah.
But the subtlety of it, that's fantastic.
That is just astonishing. I very much like that. Just how easy it is to drink, and that slight little peat on the end really makes it, I reckon.
I let that swirl around on the palate there for a little while, and you got like a spice, wood, a little bit of peat at the end of the palate, and then just right at the end when it's about to fade away, and you get this little tingle of peat like a campfire that's in the distance.
It's quite poetic, mate.
This is inspired.
I look, it's like I know we should add a little bit of water to see what that does to it, but I kind of don't want to.
I'm kind of enjoying it, but I will leave a little bit in the glass and add some for due diligence. Due diligence.
It doesn't need it.
No.
For me, I mean, it's like occasionally with something that's a bit stronger and stuff, it's like, yeah, I definitely need to add a bit of water to get that alcohol level down. so that I can really get
other
the flavour of the
things,
whiskey. But this is just carrying through ever so nicely. But we'll do it. You know, just to be thorough.
Yeah, well, you've got to open up the subtleties.
Yeah, we might be able to find some other interesting stuff coming out, but yeah, as it is delicious.
That is a top-notch whiskey.
And it's changing the whole way through as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see what it actually does as we get down through the bottle.
I think this could be one of those remarkable ones that I haven't actually stuck my nose back in there or anything yet since I've added the water, but I think it's one of those ones that can really, really open up and really develop. And also maybe I kind of really want to explore the temperature variations that you can get by either chilling it lightly or actually warming it a little.
See what it does, yeah. Yep.
We sort of try and get a bit of heat into the glass.
Well, it is pretty warm and humid now, but yeah. Just holding it will change it a little bit. How many drops did you put in this time, Scotty?
4. I
4?
think it's going to be my standard.
That's your standard, Scotty, 4?
Yeah.
I went 3. How many did you go? Didn't bother?
Well, I kind of just,
A splash?
probably about that much, so I don't know. It's probably about 3 mil, I guess.
3 mil?
That really
Maybe
does
a
cut
little
off
more.
the alcohol off the nose.
Well, that changes it. Quite a bit.
It's really reduced it on the nose.
I'm getting a little bit of funky stuff coming through there, like it's dried grass.
I think it's actually more of that sort of. It's more earthy for me, so it's definitely that.
Yeah,
that peat's starting to come through.
Yeah.
I get earthiness.
But
like
it's still just
damp
beautiful.
ground
But it's
and-
there, but it's not there.
No, it's very subtle. It's
not overpowering by any means, but it's barely there.
I'm going to go in for a taste.
Oh, that's honey. That's really... the peat's gone. The oak is very subdued. I'm getting honey, caramel, very subtle, very smooth. You could drink that all day.
There's a hint of spice there as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting
But
mainly
I'm
is like a
trying to
red
figure out
pepper.
what it is.
What kind of spice?
Like a red
Almost peppery,
pepper,
yeah.
A red pepper?
Yeah, that's
Capsicum?
what I'm getting.
Not a sweeter spice, but wow.
Because I'm not getting honey, but everybody's palate's different.
I mean, there is a hint of sweetness there from the sherry, but you can't really sort of, like me, I'm like you. I think I'm not sure if it's honey or if it's more of a caramel.
To me, it's like a carameled sugar, but honey at the front,
It's
and then a spice.
little bit more honey than it is caramel. I don't know. Good stuff.
Yeah, this is good stuff. I better leave that a little bit in the glass, I think. So how much would you pay for that?
I'm gonna go. Reckon about.
I like that.
Maybe like 100 to 150-ish. I'm not actually too sure where.
It's a
I'd
pretty
place
loose
that.
ballpark, mate.
I know.
It's a good range.
Yeah,
It
but
gives you flexibility.
it's like it is hard to put down.
I'm thinking it's possibly on the lower end of that scale, more than sort of 100 to 120 Australian.
Yeah.
Well, you're pretty damn close there, because I paid 115.
There you go.
And what I've seen, it's around that price. So, and which it's damn good for a new distillery coming out with some great product like this. It's quite impressive.
In the grander scheme of things, they are still a very young distillery, having only started their first batch in 2004.
2004.
Because they said it took them about 4 years to actually
Yeah.
fit out the distillery, because they took their time and they sourced good equipment.
Yeah.
Quality stills and everything else.
I think it's definitely paying
Awesome.
dues.
I think it's
yeah.
definitely a distillery to keep your eyes on.
Yeah, definitely.
Totally. I'm going to give this a 9.5. Easy out of 10.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that.
Yeah. I'm really, really enjoying this. What are you thinking? You're thinking...
See, me being me, I'm a little more conservative sometimes, but I mean, it's definitely up there. It's a solid 9.2.
Solid 9.2
for me.
I mean,
Look, at 115, it's a higher ABV. It's great value, and like I said, it's one I'm looking forward to experimenting with a little with temperature as well as that little bit of dilution. I think it's going to be a whiskey that's going to suit most people.
It's got a bit for everybody.
Because you can drink it beautifully as it is, add a bit of water, and I'd be curious to see how it goes if it's slightly chilled.
Yeah, it would be actually interesting to see what it actually does. And it has got a bit everyone. If you like your honey and your floral from like a Speyside or a Lowland, or you like a bit of peat, it's got a bit of sherry. God, it's a one-stop wonder. I'm thinking it's
just it's a world of nuances in a glass.
Yeah, that's perfect. I agree with that. Yep. So I've got a little bit left, and he's already smashed it. He couldn't wait.
I ran out of whiskey again.
Scotty's got none left again.
Poor boy. So until next time,
There's a little bit.
have a good one.
Have a good one.
There's a
Okay,
floaty.
ready?
I think there's a floaty.
Well, it's your glass.
No, it's a fucking light. It's a reflection.
I'm keeping that. That's going to be the
I'm
outro.
just getting that.
Okay.
Right, I'm good now.
You good?
Yeah.
Awesome.